Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Magnificent Seven stocks. There's been a lot of price action going on this last week, so let's get into it. With CNN, fear and greed, we are back down into neutral, and on pie vesting, we are just hovering right in the greed area. So going over into the stock market, looking at the S&P as well as the VIX before we get into the Mag 7, you can see the S&P on the daily, that's a nice green candle, had a little bit of a bounce today off the 50-day moving average, so we'll see if that continues. But we have had this recent sell-off from this point at about 4 or 5%. So standard correction on the weekly. If you take a look at this, we aren't even quite down to the 20 moving average, so it wouldn't surprise me if we did see a little bit more of a pullback. Last time we had a pullback, only hit the 20. The time before, the S&P did get to the 50 and the 100, so the 20 moving average is around 53.25. If it got worse, we'd be looking low 5,000s. The VIX, right now, the volatility is spiking a little bit. So probably it'll pull back. We'll see. And let's get into the Mag 7 stocks. So starting off with NVIDIA, and you can see right here, 11% move up, and it was down yesterday. So big movements. I actually want to take a look at this on the daily. Yeah, you can see here, NVIDIA yesterday got all the way down to 103, and today big jump back up to 115. Does have this little wick of a rejection off the 50-day moving average, but it does have a buy signal, so we'll see how it reacts. Can it get above? Can it stay above? I'm looking at the Heikin-Ashi candle body. If not, if NVIDIA can't close and get above 116, then I think we may be going down further, maybe back to 105 or even as low as the 90s. I know that seems crazy, but we'll see what happens here. If it starts getting above, then maybe this is a good area for a bounce. Let's go over to Microsoft. And Microsoft as well has seen a little bit of a dip recently. You can see that overall it's gone down 12%. Now, Microsoft, I believe right now compared to Apple, it's the second largest stock in the world at around a $3.09 trillion market cap. Right now, it's holding on to the 100-day moving average, and the wicks are trying to form a base. You can see it still went lower, but if it does bounce here, maybe a good area for some value. You can see that Microsoft, when we watch these moving averages, you want to see which ones the stock's in love with the most. And while you see a lot of times where it bounces off the 50, here, and here, you can see as well, we take the 100 quite a few times. So once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So on this bull run that we started since late 22, it has fallen in love with the 100 moving average. Only once before did it get quite almost to the 200. So as far as this run's concerned, possible good dollar cost averaging value for Microsoft. But if you did want to wait for the 200 daily moving average, that's around 404, and that's probably pretty close. Yeah, the 50-week moving average is around 400. And in my opinion, whenever an asset is able to stay above the 50-week, then it's still technically bullish. So let's take off our buy-sell signals, because we know that these are going down and a sell signal's playing out. So let's throw on the relative strength index, and as you can see, on the weekly, Microsoft is getting a little bit oversold. Now, sometimes some of these top stocks, it's very rare to see them in this range under the 50 on the RSI, the relative strength index. So what you can look at as a possible DCA strategy is to just eye when it's at or near the 50 or below, and that tends to be a good area to dollar cost average in and get some extra value. So we'll see what Microsoft does, whether or not it keeps getting oversold on the weekly or not. Let's move over to Apple. And Apple has, where's its market cap? 3.4 trillion. And you can see still doing pretty well. It isn't sold off like Microsoft or Nvidia have, but you can see it is overbought here. And there is some slight bearish divergence. You can see the peak of the RSI is lower and the price is higher, but sometimes these things take a while to play out. And on the weekly, you can see there, it's on the Heikin-Ashi candles, it is going down a bit. And on the daily, what do we notice? Didn't get quite to the 50-day moving average, so showing some strength. We'll see if right here it's able to possibly come back down, maybe do a 3-wave correction before going higher. So we will see what happens with Apple, but overall holding up better compared to the others. Amazon, let's get this thing loaded here. Amazon, kind of like Microsoft, we can see it's back at the 100-day moving average, which it does get to time. There was once, that was last October of 2023, where it's at the 200-day moving average, as well as this, let's see, which fib is that, the 382 fib. And so since this bull run began, only once has it hit the 200. Otherwise, recently it's been the 100-week moving average. So some possible good areas to get some value. But, we'll see. We'll see if maybe by this October, you can see the last couple Octobers, October 22, we were selling down quite a bit. October 23, we were getting the lower values. Maybe by this October, it is possible that Amazon will be in this lower area, somewhere around this 786 fib and the 200-day moving average at 170. So that'd be an area I'd be possibly looking for by this October. And Google, let's see, Google getting a nice bounce off the 100-day moving average. You can see with Google, we have hit the 200 twice here since, really since we've broken out. After we've broken out, we've only hit it twice. But otherwise, we've hit the 100 a couple times before. So some decent dollar cost average value here for Google. And we'll see what happens, whether or not it gets rejected at the 50-day moving average. If it does a 5-wave structure, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. If it doesn't start breaking out here and it does a 5-wave structure down, then I would be looking for the 200 again at around 158. But we'll see. It all depends on what it's going to do on its way up here. But you can see it is oversold. And the last time it was oversold this much, it was at the 200 moving average. But maybe it's only going to be at the 100. And speaking of 5 waves, you can kind of see one right here. So, yeah, we'll see. Google right now, I don't hate the value. And as far as comparing PE ratios, which is somewhat similar to looking at the progressive value on the moving averages, you can see it's not in the worst spot. Meta, Facebook. Obviously, it's been having some chop. It was getting up near the 1618 macro fib. Let's zoom out and show you guys that. So when I draw these fib retracements, we draw from the prior high to low. And as you can see, it was getting close there, but it's coming back down. So let's make sure we take that off. And as far as the weekly moving average, it's holding on to the 20, but is maybe coming down to the 50. I do like these candle wicks on the bottom. You can see it's trying to form somewhat of a base and show that there are buyers trying to keep this level here. Let's zoom in on the daily, see what we got. And again, as far as moving averages, you want to see where is the value been on these moving averages and what does the stock like. And Meta at its deeper moving average value likes the 100. We haven't really gotten too far below it as far as these two recent times. So it is chopping sideways. It is in the oversold region on the daily, and it's starting to curl up. And you guys can see right here when it started to curl up above this average on the oversold, what was the price doing? It was starting to move up. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Meta can possibly get closer to this 1618 fib up here. The target I'm looking for some possible profit taking, or a lot of profit taking, is here at around 567. Lastly, let's go over to Tesla and let's see how Tesla's doing. So zooming out, let's go to the weekly here and make sure that we can see this correctly. Obviously, there would be a sell signal playing out here in Tesla. You can see this doji candle, which means that the market really can't decide which way it's going to go, but it's one way or the other, and we are starting to go down. And a while ago, drew these trend lines just because I noticed, there was an upward base pattern here and a downward pattern, and we finally broke above it. But last week, if you guys remember, we zoomed out, we looked at this on the monthly. And on the monthly, it shows a different picture, that even though on the weekly and the daily, you can see we get well above it, on the monthly, it's only a candle wick, not the candle body. So I think that these two trend lines, this wedge that we've drawn, is still active. You can see the RSI. It is getting lower as well. And yes, it's trying to form somewhat of a base. But I'm really curious to see if Tesla is going to not just ride down this trend line, but even work its way back into the wedge and get here at around the 0.5 fib. And this will be an important area for Tesla because you can see all the moving averages are converged right there, as well as the 0.5. So Tesla, from the top, you can see here is at 424. The move that I make, all the way down to about 100, it's right near the 0.5 fib. So very important area on whether or not it's going to break all this support, the 0.5 fib. And if it starts showing weakness and going lower back into this wedge as everything is converging, then as far as which way it'll break out of the wedge, I would be leaning down, but we will see. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I know there's a lot of earnings reports that have come out this week. I'm going to skip on that video today because I won't be able to make a video tomorrow. In a little bit, I'll be releasing doing my Bitcoin mining stock video. So hope you guys enjoyed. The markets right now, possible good dollar cost average value, but don't be surprised if some of these Mag 7s maybe go down to their next moving average. And for me, not financial advice, but those look like pretty juicy areas to possibly consider. So thanks for watching. Take care.